Hello everybody. Um so today, hi Maria, hi Beth. Today, as I said, I was going to start the whole Halloween stuff, and thank you so much for all the nice words, but I will wait until Saturday before I want to talk about Whisper. It's been 2 weeks. I'm kind of starting to get out of it, but I still have bouts of bursting into tears, if that makes sense. So I'm going to wait until Saturday and I'll tell you all about it. But anyway, let's get back to the coffee mug. You practically, if you want to do this, you need a blank mug. I did put some in the Amazon influencer store in the coverables. Hi Donna, hi Morgan. In the coverables section. And let me put again my influencer store. Now remember that what I put in the influencer store, it's not necessarily that I tell you, oh, you can only do it with that. Okay. I kind of try to separate, even if you cannot afford to buy it on my Amazon influencer store, or you have stuff cheaper near you. At least I'm separating stuff so you can see what you're looking for. Okay. Again, the truth is that it helps me getting materials and stuff whenever you purchase from, or even if you just get on Amazon, whenever you need to buy something from Amazon. If you access Amazon through my influencer store, it's going to keep my cookie for 24 hours. So if you do a purchase, it's going to give me some a few cents credit, and it doesn't raise your prices. But again, don't think that I'm trying to tell you, oh, you have to buy it there. This is why I did put some mugs in the coverables. They are the cheapest that I could find on Amazon. You know how, especially on this kind of stuff, the prices go up and down. Honestly, I bought these at my local Dollar Tree. Before the pandemic, I bought several, and they were just $1. So if you go outside still to shop and you have a Dollar Tree around you, look at the Dollar Tree. The thing is that you have to make sure that they are ceramic. Do not buy plastic ones, because not all plastics are good to go in the oven. Hi Ellen. So the first thing that you'll need practically white clay, black clay. If you want to go and do more fancy eyes, you will need a little bit of red clay, or you can just simply buy eyes. You can find some eyes in my it's doll and other eyes. Hold on, let me look what it's called. It's a section that is called not eyes. It's called eyes, dolls, dragons, etc. So if you want to, excuse me, if you want to do more fancy eyes, you can just buy those eyes. But I'll show you how to do it with just regular eyes. The other thing that you need is white clay. I strongly advise you to mix a little bit of white pearl in it, because it gives you a little bit more shadow. Then you'll need a little bit of black clay, and then either a flea comb for pets, or you can use simply your needle. And you'll need a piece of fabric, preferably cheesecloth. If not, any other fabric where you can see the thread. Just make sure it's not a knit. Make sure it's a regular, crosswise woven fabric. So what we do first of all, you want to get some clay, get all your white and stuff, and kind of going half, covering half of your mug plus a little bit over, but not much more than that because you will not use all of it. Then your next thing, and you can go kind of eyeballing, as I said. Don't fret much about, oh my god, it has to be 1 inch, it has to be 1¼ of an inch stuff. No, it's fine even if you get a little bit extra leftover scrap. You've seen I have quite a bit. I actually maybe should make a playlist with all the tutorials I have with scrap clay, just plain scrap clay. Okay, so in this case it's like a 6 by 5, and I want about 1/3 of it. Okay, so I'm going to cut about pretty much 1/3 of it, and I am going to, and let me get a touch more because it's not really 1/3, and I am going to put in this third a pinch of black. I don't want a lot of it, right? I want a very, very light gray. So as you can see, I'm putting about the size of a small pea. Now remember that when I'm working, sometimes I'm not watching the chat. The ladies that you see, Elaine and Judy is not here yet, that you see have a different name. They are the moderators, and they pretty much pay attention to what you're asking, and they either try to answer for me or they will just give me a heads up, hey, it's somebody who's trying to ask a question. So if your question doesn't get answered right away, don't be very upset because it's gonna get answered. Hi Krista, hi Sharon. Did I say hi Warren? If I didn't, I say hi Warren. If I already did, I have chemo brain and I'm blonde, so that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so I can tell you that people already started Halloween decorations, and I was in the store, where did I go shopping? Tuesday, this past Tuesday I went grocery shopping. So it's not, August is not even over, and there were already Halloween things. I mean, like, what the heck? And I bet you in September they're gonna put up the Christmas already. Hi Colleen. So as you can see, I'm just kind of hurrying this a little bit into mixing it. But again, you don't want a gray that is too dark. You just want a little bit. And why is that? Because if you start putting one on top of the other, the strips of white, you won't be able to really see what's going on because it's gonna be white on white, and unless the mug is in a specific light that falls in a specific direction. Jesse, what the heck is your mug so bumpy? I mean, that's the only thing you'd see. Okay, so you don't even have to go perfectly mixed. And by the way, because I got some comments from time to time from people who just discover my lives, right? Why don't you get your stuff ready before starting the live? Well, because that's what pre-recorded tutorials are. When I do lives, I want to show you exactly how much it would take you and pretty much how things should be done step by step from the very beginning. Okay, now you see I got my mix. You need to have it about the same width as your white, remaining white. So I am going to, so this should be pretty much it because it's going to widen up. Now I'm going to pass it through the machine on decreasing the setting until this is as long as this. Okay, and one more. Okay, now it's a little bit longer, but it's fine because you want the light gray to be a little bit thinner than the white. All right, so now I have pretty much the same. I'm going to remove the extra here, and as I said, the gray might get a little bit wider, but at this point I really do want them to be the same size, and I'll show you in a second why. So even if the corners are not perfectly corners, if they decide to be more plumpy, rounded, thank you. Okay, now I'm going to, because remember this goes about half around, so I want to cut this. Let me see, I have pretty much 3 inches, so I'm going to cut this in 3 1-inch strips. And again, it doesn't have to be perfectly 1 inch, because see, I have just a pinch over 3 inches, so I'm going to go a little bit over 1 and 2, and the same here. And the same here. Now you can go even with thinner than this. It depends on how exactly you want your thing to go. So let me cut them. And here's going to get just a pinch trick here, because what I need to do is to connect them. So I'm going to get one edge over the other by about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, and then make room, and again about 1/8 of an inch, and the same with these ones. And again, it's okay if it's going to be one a little bit longer than the other, because you don't have to use perfect everything. All right, now I'm going to place the white on top of the gray. Right, I have here some extras left over that I'm going to remove. But again, don't fret much if the edges are not perfect, because they are not going to be perfect, because we are talking about mummy wrappings. Mummy wrappings after thousands and thousands of years are not perfect. They are kind of shredded, and I'll show you how to do the shredding as well. And I'm going to get the ends. Now I'm going to go, because right now I have this thing goes around the mug about 1.5, and it's very, very thick. So I'm going to go decreasing the thickness until I get to about a 6 or maybe even a 7 on the makings. So you want a medium thin towards thin. And yes, you're gonna get a long, long, long strip. So let me switch to the machine. There we go. I'm going to go one less. And again. Too low. Now let me see how many times I can go around my mug. Because this I should have 4 times plus plus 1 to get a nice covering. So 1, this would be 1. So 1, 2, 3. So let me go pretty much one more time with 2 more settings down, because I thought it's a 6. Okay, and now I'm pretty much good, because if I go, it was about this much and I definitely have 5 pretty much. My next thing, now this has to be done with the white up. Try not to fold it, that's your biggest thing. I'm gonna put it over here. So I'm going to grab my cheesecloth, and I'm going to cheesecloth the heck out of it. Because you want to make it look like fabric, right? It's okay if the cheesecloth is not perfect. Hi, Rania. And as you can see, it's already starting to fray at the end, at the edges, just from the cheesecloth, but we're gonna encourage it to do that even more than that. Let me grab this. This is the only thing that's a little bit more. Alright, so here. That's a little bit more tricky because you need the whole length of this strip. If you're not comfortable with it, you can make it in several lengths. Hi, Judy. And then just try to connect them on the mug. If it's too tricky for you to use all this length of a strip. Okay. And remember that it's going to lengthen a little bit even more while you're texturing it. So, okay, here. And then the last bit. And there we are. I did texture all of it. There you go. Now remember what I said, it doesn't have to be perfectly perfect. Now what the heck did I do with my needle? There it is. So as I said, you can use okay, don't get all messed up here. You can use a needle. It's gonna take you longer if you use a needle to just come and do fraying. You can use a one of these very harsh fingernail, or you can use a flea comb for your pets, but you want to fray these edges. It's entirely up to you what you decide you want to use, and you don't want them too frayed, but you want to show that they are kind of frayed and in not a very good shape. Hi Karen, hi Liana. So press and pull, press and pull. Yeah, it's going to bring out bits and pieces of clay, but that's what it's supposed to do. And again, you can go with your needle and do this, but it's gonna take you way longer. And it's not going to be too hard because, as I said, it's already going to start fraying a bit from the cheesecloth or whatever other fabric you decide to use. And again, you can make the strips much thinner. I didn't make them much thinner because I thought that might take too long for the purposes of this live. So, oh come on, sit there already. You can do this when if you don't want to keep handling the strip too much. You can do this right after you put in the the cheesecloth texture. So then you'll only have to lift the strip once from the table and then move to the next section. But as I said, you can do this with the, even with the, you know, those wire brushes for cats, you can even use that. Or if you have a wire brush to clean stuff, to clean metal, you can use that for this. And the last bit. And I will refocus here the camera in a second so you can see the close-up of this all. Okay, pretty much it has to look like thank you, Beth. Pretty much needs to look like, you know, those strips that they used to make casts for whenever you break a leg. That's pretty much it, because those are made with plaster over cheesecloth bandage. I mean, the old style. Okay, this is how it looks like when you're done. And that grayish thing will make the edges more noticeable. But see, it looks like bandages, pretty much. This is what you want. Now, for the next thing, let me try and get this so it doesn't start messing up with itself. And first of all, what you need to do, and let me make sure that I'm getting this at the, yes, this should be good. Okay, first of all, what you need to do is to use alcohol to clean your mug really good, because you do not want any greasy stuff. Hi, Isabel. Sure, you can watch it later. So just use some alcohol to wipe your mug. Now, remember, whenever you cover a mug, you have to have several things in mind. Number one, do not come with whatever design you're doing, do not come too close to where you're drinking. So if you're a left-handed person, it would be on this side right here. If you're a right-handed person, it would be on this side. Then the center of your design should be on the other side than what your the side you're drinking out of. The other thing is, if your design, if your whatever decoration wraps at one point in any way the whole mug, you don't have to worry about anything. But if it's just pieces of stuff put on the mug, after they are baked, you need to remove them and then glue them, because if you don't, sooner or later they will absolutely fall off. Now we are going to do first, before starting to wrap, before starting to do anything else, we are going to do first the mummy's eyes. So what you need a little bit of black, and I'm not going to even use the machine at this point because it's got stuff in it, on it. I got all the strips hanging over the machine. So you want it to be fairly thinnish. So let's place just a pinch of, so as I'm a right-handed person, my main design will be opposite, so it would be on this side. So I'm going to place just a little bit of bacon bond, just a little bit. Don't need to worry much. I just want my thing to not start sliding around while I'm wrapping. Okay, so then I'm gonna place my black here, and I don't really need all that big of a thing, but I'm going to still get it, make sure that it's nice with no air trapped inside. This is your main issue, your main scare. Never trap air, because it's gonna get bubbling up and it's going to completely deform your thing. And now let's make some mummy eyes, and I'm going to use just some of that white that I used for just the white, not the gray, just the white. I'm going to use some of that white, and I'll show you another trick. Yeah, there wouldn't be any issue. Just don't try to cure it in the microwave. You have to think that polymer clay is a plastic, so it will behave like a plastic in pretty much any condition. But like any plastic, you have to think about the fact that when it's heated, it's going to release some type or another of fumes. So I'm not sure you want to put it in the microwave. Not sure if it's that healthy. That's why I said keep it away from where you're drinking, so you don't touch it, especially if you have a hot beverage. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to do mommy's eyes. You saw I made a bead, and then I kinda cut it in two and then kinda flattened it out. My next thing will be to make 2 dips in it. But before I do anything else, see, this is something I forgot. Let me think, because I need some red thread, red fibers. I don't have a lot of red. Oh, I know. Just a second. I have a Santa hat. See, I have a Santa hat. It's not Christmas, but anyway, what you need is, let me actually get this in zoom so you can see better. Good morning, Aileen. So let's zoom the heck out of this thing and make sure that it's well focused. There we go. So this should be just fine, generally speaking. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my eyeglasses. Thank you, Anna. And I'm going to grab some. So what you need is some red fibers. It doesn't really matter where you're getting them. But this is one of the tricks of art doll makers. This is to make bloody eyes effect. Oh, come on, stay here. Okay. So this is what you need. Then I'm going to get this should be just fine. I'm going to get the end of a paintbrush, and I'm going to do a dip. And then I'm going to grab again some black. And plop it. Okay, this one needs more. Plop it in those holes I made with the end of the paintbrush handle. Okay, now I can unzoom, and I'm holding my fingers here to be sure that I am focusing properly. Okay, is this a good focus? Yes, this is a good focus. Okay, now I'm going to grab these eyes and I'm going to put them here. And yes, I know you can see there's a lot of more fiber here, so I'm going to simply cut it off. There's also, as you can see, there's some corner. Okay, this one doesn't cut very well. Oh, come on, get up. This is pretty much my mommy eyes. And one thing that you can do is to grab, to grab some Scalpy and or Cernit. Cernit also can get you a little bit of, can get you some varnish that can be baked, and just cover this whole thing with a little bit of Scalpy gloss for two reasons. Number one, you want your eyes to be shiny because that's pretty much how eyes are, right? But you want to keep those fibers in, not come out and start messing up with your mommy strips. Hello, Antonio. Oh. All right, now I can start working with my mommy stuff. So let me make sure that it's in a good position, doesn't interfere with anything else. And you want pretty much to start under the handle. Don't get over the bottom of the mug. So you want to do one plain wraparound, but don't get over the edge of the bottom of the mug. And once you did your wraparound, you can start going a little bit more crazy. See, not go in the same, and here's going to be the problem because you have to go inside the handle. So very careful not to break your strip. That's why I said if you don't feel comfortable with working with a very long strip, You can easily work in several shorter strips and just, you know, either put them one on top of the other or okay, now I'm going to get, see it broke a little bit here, that's fine. I'm going to go over and here, remember, don't bring it all the way to where you drink. You can bring it back here. Let me try and get this here. There we go. Much easier for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna have to go again in the handle. And I'm going to go like this. And I need to cover the bottom of the eye thingy. Hi, Laura Lynn. Okay, this is a little bit too high. Let's go a little bit lower because I don't want to interfere with the eyes. And let's break this up a little. Okay, so I have this, but I'm going to come with, and because the needle already kind of broke it, I'm getting a good fray here. And that afterwards I can place properly here. Now, as you can see, there's quite a bit of stuff that's not fully over, so you do want to come very gently and flatten these in, because if you don't do this, number one, you have to make sure that it's well flattened, especially at the handle area. If you need to, you can actually reserve a little bit of this strip to perfectly cover here, but what you want to do is to make sure that it's everywhere stuck to the mug, because if it's not, whenever you're going to wash the mug, you might get bacteria in all the areas that are not sealed against the mug and against the clay, against itself. So you want to make sure that it's all over. Flattened out fairly well. Now see here, I went a little bit over and I don't like it, so I'm going to fray it up over the edge. And remember, this is where you drink. Do not come all the way to the... And it looks fairly neat, but there's one more thing you can do, and I'll show you here in a second. Let me clean this area up. Because remember, I cannot take a whole bunch of stuff all from the beginning here, because I only have a limited stuff, and I'm a klutz sometimes. Okay, just a second. Okay, so here you can use a gray, you can use a burnt umber, you can use all kinds of other colors, but you want to make this look a little bit dirtier, right? So it wouldn't be too whitish and hard to remember. That's what I said. If you make it all the way white, it's not going to look as good because you cannot see very well the edges and the texture and all that. So here I'm using burnt umber, and I'm going to do a wash of it. What a wash means is that the paint is very, 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 very diluted. I'm gonna put some here. And again, you can use gray, you can use a burnt umber, you can even use a stone gray or a dolphin gray. Burnt umber is one of the easiest to find. So I'm going to just go all over it with it. And again, remember that it has to be a wash. And then I'm going to come and pat it off and make messes. And then I'm going to go again all over it with it. But yeah, you're asking about the fibers. Whatever fibers you have, look for if you have yarn, if you have whatever fibers you have. You just need some, even from sewing thread, to make the... And you might have to come 2 or 3 times, because whenever you never try to put too much color all at once, because whenever you put too much color all at once, it's going to mess up. It's better to come with 2 or 3 washes. Now, do you need to glaze this? If you want to, but otherwise there's no need. If you want to put it in the microwave and stuff, then yeah, I would suggest that you use some Minwax on it. But, or any other glaze, but again, I wouldn't recommend to really microwave it because of fumes and stuff. It will be fine if you put hot stuff in it, but not to heat it up. Because this is just for fun. It's not something to actually use much. Remember, polymer clay is not to be used for foods. That's why we keep the stuff away from the mouth of the mug. Okay, and this should be pretty much good. Let me put the camera to the side again so you can see it. But this would be your mommy coffee mug. Yeah, if you got the artisan, the Franco Garcia artisan powders, those are very good, but I don't recommend you to do them on this one because they are permanent powders. They stick very good and you won't be able to remove them. You cannot put as much. The only thing that you might be able to use is the ivory, but that's just a very off-white, so it would still do something good. So you can try the off-white on the white gauze, but don't try any of the darker ones because, again, those don't go away. Those pigments are made to stick to resin, so trust me, they will stick to white clay in a way that you won't be able to remove. Okay, there we go, and this is pretty much it. So all you need to do is to bake it, and if somebody wants to see you, you can drink from a, right? And you bake it, and as I said, you can put some varnish on it. Just I wouldn't recommend to put it in the microwave really, but this is a way to make, and you can make these three strips thinner. I would actually recommend to make them thinner than this, about 1/2 inch. But again, I didn't make them 1/2 inch because it would have taken much longer to prepare the whole strip. And once again, if you cannot do the whole strip, make them about 3/4 around, then you can just put them one on top of the other and create these random bandaging stuff. Okay, and it's going to look even if you put varnish on it, the look of fabric is going to go away. It's going to look glazed ceramic, but it's going to hold much better when washed if you put varnish on it. So it's up to you how you want to keep it. But again, when you get to the point of wherever you're drinking, if you're left-handed or right-handed, hold wherever your lips will touch the mug. Do not place clay there because it is not yet known if the clay itself can be used for mouth touching. Okay. All right, so I hope to be able to put soon something else. Thank you, Warren, and I shall see you all next Sunday for another Halloween something. And yes, like last year, I'm gonna put one of these for Halloween. Close to Halloween, I am going to wear some Halloweenish stuff. Okay, thank you so much, and see you all next Sunday. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Goodbye.